If you're a sound system owner or a mobile DJ or a venue manager, there are lots of ways and lots of tools and devices that you can use to manage your sound or to manage your speakers. I'm going to show you what we use here at One Nation Experience to manage our sound and manage our speakers. My name is Maurice, aka DJ Croc from One Nation Experience, and welcome to One Nation Daily, part of a 30-day challenge for me to show up here on YouTube each day and speak about a different topic. Now, sound management and speaker management is something I speak about a lot, and it's a challenge that I encounter a lot, especially when working in or DJing in different venues. I'm constantly faced with the challenge of dealing with bad sound or bad sound systems in different venues. It's a constant challenge. My experience, most venue owners or managers are they don't really care about the quality of the sound or anything like that, or giving the people or their patrons, the customers that come to their establishments a good experience when it comes to sound quality. They are primarily concerned with making money at the bar, making money at their kitchen, or ticket sales for whatever events are being held at their establishments. But good quality sound and good quality tech is usually at the very bottom of the list of priorities for most venue owners or managers that I've worked with in my career. I should say, for context, in fact, so what I'm going to show is going to be of use to them and also to mobile DJs who are still doing the plug and play thing, i.e. they are connecting their DJ device directly to their speakers or directly to their amplifier with no sound processing in between. I did a previous video in this series about how to get good sound quality, and I talked in that video about the importance of having some form of sound processing in between your DJ device, whether it's a controller, DJ mixer or what have you, and your speakers or your amplifier. But plugging directly from your DJ device, controller, mixer, what have you, into your amplifier or into your speakers is the most basic setup, and that's why you get the most basic sound quality. So how do we manage sound and speakers here at One Nation Experience? So let me give you a little bit of context first before I show you what I have in front of me. My background is in sound system, right? Although we do a number of things here at One Nation Experience, we do as much live streaming of events as we do sound systems, but we're talking about sound today. So sound system really is my background, and I first got into sound system in the early 1990s. All right, so I've been in this for a while, and when I started to build my own set for my own business, it was all analog. So I had a rack of equipment, and in it all the equipment was analog. I had a stereo valve analog preamp, stereo valve analog compressor, a analog 33 band graphic equalizer. For people that understand these things, basically every piece of kit in this rack was analog. Now, the sound from that equipment was beautiful. I loved it. The problem with it was that those old school analog racks, they are big, bulky, and they are heavy to carry around. All right, they're not very user friendly for mobile DJs. Okay, so I had this problem with the size and the bulk and just the cumbersome nature of this rack that I used to have, even though the sound was wonderful. And also, it only had two inputs for an audio source going in, which would basically be my left and right from my control. Well, I don't use controllers, left and right from my mixer. So I couldn't connect any other devices to the set. So that was a drawback, and the size and the bulkiness and the cumbersome nature of this thing was another drawback that I really didn't like. And plus, the technology is always changing. It was changing then, and it is always changing when it comes to tech. And so I felt pushed towards looking at digital solutions because the analog solutions were a bit limited for me and also a bit inconvenient to move around. So I started looking at digital options. And the big transition for me in going from analog to digital was when I purchased this. Now, this is the Allen & Heath QU16 digital mixing desk. All right, this is a fully digital mixing desk. And this really revolutionized how I manage sound and how I managed my speakers. As you can see from this, it has lots of inputs, and I'll show you the back as well. It has lots of inputs there, but it also has lots of outputs as well. So I can connect lots of different speakers and configure them completely in different ways. It has an Ethernet port, so I connect my wireless router, and some of you have seen how I connect my iPad to that and tune the sound by standing somewhere in the room away from this thing. So there are lots of benefits to this desk. It is smaller than the rack. Basically everything my old rack used to do, all the equipment in the old rack, this one piece of tech does it all and then some, literally. So I could get rid of the whole rack and I replaced the whole rack just with this. This did everything and more that the old rack does. In addition to that, it can take up to, I think it's 19 different channels. So I can connect multiple DJs, I can string up a whole band, a whole drum set, different singers, MCs or vocalists, keyboard, guitars, the whole nine. I can string them all or connect them all up through this. And also a feature I really like about this is there's a USB slot here that has multiple functions. You can save your settings for this thing. So that's a really good feature on this. Is, in fact, you don't even need the USB for that, but it helps for that. You can save your settings digitally. So if, say for example, someone comes and messes up your faders or what have you, and you think, oh, I can't remember how they all were, you just recall the settings and all these just snap back into place however you set them. Really, really useful feature. And so I have different settings I have one setting for my big sound, another setting for the smaller set, another setting for when I use it for live streams, and I just call up whichever setting I'm going to be using it for, and all these just pop into place according to the settings that I call up. Also with the USB, you can record everything that goes through this in a session that you're doing. So if you have, I don't know, whatever's going through this, multiple DJs, a whole band, a whole session, whatever it is that's happening, you can record everything that's going through this mixer on the USB that sits right in there. Very useful feature of this mixing desk. And it has lots more, lots of features. It has a parametric equalizer for each channel, and for the inputs and outputs has a graphic equalizer, 33 band graphic equalizer on the stereo channels, has things like compressors, limiters, all kinds of stuff. There is nothing that I can't manage in terms of sound or speaker management with this mixer. There's nothing I can't handle with this. It's really, really good, and the sound is phenomenal. Allen & Heath is a very good brand. It's a reputable brand. Remembering the, well, if you've seen the previous video where I was talking about managing sound or getting good sound, I talked about learning what the good brands are. What are the brands that have the good quality brands from the not so good quality brands? Allen & Heath is definitely in one of the list of good quality brands. So this Allen & Heath QU16 digital mixing desk really revolutionized how I approach sound system and speaker management here at One Nation Experience. I should mention that there is an upgraded version of this mixing desk now. Allen & Heath have recently put out a QU5, which is very similar to this, except it's very similar to the QU16, except it's black and it looks very, very sexy, looks gorgeous. And it has new features inside it. So it has new technology and new features inside it. I've looked at the QU5 and I've had a play around with one of them and just looked at the tech and compared the two and come to the conclusion that the majority of the new features that are in the QU5, I wouldn't really be using, wouldn't really be of use or much benefit to me. Therefore, I concluded that it doesn't really make sense me spending the extra money to upgrade to the QU5 to get features that I'm unlikely to be making use of. So I've decided to stick with the QU16 because this works fine for me. The downsides of the QU16 is, as you can see, this thing is still quite big, even though it's a lot smaller than my old rack and all the components that were in there. It is still quite big. It is still heavy. It is heavy. And the case that this goes in is obviously bigger, and that is also heavy. So the combined weight of this in the case, it's very big and very heavy, which is one of the problems I had with the old Analogue rack. Even though this is still smaller, it is still big, it's still a bit bulky and cumbersome, and it's still heavy. Still been using it and taking it everywhere, but there is that problem. And also, there are some occasions when I don't need all the extra channels, because if it's just me DJing with from my own DJ mixer, and there's no one else to connect to the sound, then I don't need all of these extra channels that you see on this mixing desk. All right. And also, if it's a smaller venue, I might not need to connect so many speakers or such a big set, etc. So I might not need all of the features on this or all of the extra channels if it's literally just me DJing at a venue with my sound. So this has been a consideration, let's say, concern/consideration for a while with me, and I thought I need to look at something that's maybe a bit more fit for purpose for those kind of situations. Like I said, there's nothing I can't handle with this QU16, but sometimes I just don't need everything that's on it, and I don't need the extra size and the bulk as well. So enter this new piece of kit, which I just got this week. I haven't even opened it yet, so we're gonna open this together. This is my latest piece of kit, which I've been looking at for quite some time now. And this is the DBX Drive Rack PA2. All right, DBX Drive Rack PA2. This is also a sound and speaker management system. So first thing I want you to notice is the size of this thing. It's very small. How thin it is, how thin that is. Very small, very, very light. This can pretty much do everything that the QU16 can do. In terms of sound processing, it can do exactly the same. And in terms of speaker management, in the back, you'll see that these are the sockets for the input. So I only have 2 inputs on this, but you can see I have 6 outputs for speakers as well. So I have these for lows, 2 for mids, 2 for highs. I tend to operate my sound in stereo, so these are set up in stereo. The outputs are set up in stereo, so that works for me. But this basically does everything that the QU16 does in terms of sound processing. Parametric equalizer, 33-band graphic equalizer, crossover, limiter, all those things are also in this. Now, what this doesn't have, obviously, is 19 different channels, but this is not for that purpose. This is just for if it's me one DJing and no one else is there. So I don't need all the 19 different channels. It's just me, so I can just use these 2 ports here to plug in my DJ mixer. So this goes between my DJ mixer, goes into this, and then this goes to my speakers. Remember in the video before about sound quality, I was talking about having some kind of sound processing between your DJ equipment and the speakers. So these devices that I've been showing you, the QU16 and this, not together, but one or the other, what I use or what we use here to manage the sound, these go between the DJ equipment and the speakers, and all of the sound processing is done in here. The only downside to this, like I said, it can't take multiple inputs, and also this can't record on that USB the same way that the QU16 does. In the back, however, you will notice that it has USB port and also an Ethernet port, so you can connect a laptop and control the sound through that, or I can put a internet router in there, a Wi-Fi router in there, and connect my iPad, and again go and stand in the venue, in an optimal space in a venue, and tune the set from there. So like I said, it can do pretty much everything that the QU16 can, but look at the difference in size and the difference in weight. All right, so this is so small, this can actually go inside a rack that I already use and carry all the time, which has my power management in it. And this is so small, this is just going to sit right in there inside that case that I always take. So basically what this means, using this means that I will not have to carry the QU16 anymore or all the time. I will not have to always carry an extra piece. It's one less piece of kit that I need to take. It's one less case that I have to pack up and carry and then unload at the venue, take it out, set it up somewhere, string it up. At the end of the night, string it down, put it back in the case, and then carry that big heavy thing out. Sometimes I just need this, and this will come with me anyway. So one less piece of kit, much smaller, much lighter, much more compact and convenient for me to use. So this is the new piece of kit that we have here. Like I said, just had it for a few days. Now, I would recommend this for many venue owners. And although I said before that most venue owners, their sound quality is on the bottom of their list of priorities, there are some venue managers who reach out to me and seek my advice, and they come to me on a consultative basis and say, look, this is what we've got. Can you recommend something for my venue to manage these speakers or manage the sound in here? And I will look at what they've got and I will advise them on what I think will be best for their specific setup in their venue. This is something that I would recommend to a lot of venue managers because it is so comprehensive in managing all of the sound, and it is so small and compact. This can fit almost anywhere. I mean, I'm sure anybody or any venue can find space for something as small as this, and yet it would just completely revolutionize the sound in a venue that has nothing, is just doing straight plug and play from DJ equipment to amp or speaker. So I would recommend this to many venue owners. It's not that expensive. I bought this for £433. So it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. And like I said, it's very small. As you can see, it's very small and compact, and it's very comprehensive in terms of how it manages sound. From the front of it, you can see the levels here. These are the levels that you'll see when your sound is going in, and you can see all the output levels as well. Why is there different speaker outputs for low, mids and highs? Because the way that we set up our sound is we separate the low signal from the tops and the high signal from the mids and the tops. So the bass will go out on their own output and we just control the bass alone on that channel, and then the tops will go out on a different channel and we just control the tops alone over there. Doing that gives you a much cleaner sound if you completely separate the bass and the tops, and it gives you much more control over how you manage those sounds and those frequencies if you separate them in that way. So that's how we always manage our speakers as well. Same with the QU16, we manage them in the same way. We separate the bass signal and that just goes to the subs, and we separate the tops signal, that just goes to the tops, and it allows us to manage the sound much easier, or I should say much easier. It gives you better control over the sound and better clarity, because you're completely separating those signals rather than running everything down one set of cables and using a crossover. It's a bit better if you just separate the signals completely. So these are what we use here at One Nation Experience. If you need something pretty comprehensive, you're going to be having live bands in your venue quite often and things like that, where you need to connect multiple input sources, then I can definitely recommend this, or the upgraded Allen & Heath QU5. If you do not need all those extra inputs and you're basically just going to be connecting a DJ controller or DJ mixer to your sound system or to your speakers, then I would recommend something like this, where you don't need all those extra inputs, but you get the same level of sound processing ability from a nice, small, compact unit, a much cheaper unit like this, all right, the DBX Drive Rack PA2. That is it for now. If anybody has any questions on this or the transition from analog to digital or any of the pieces of kit that I have showed you here today, then please leave comments in the, leave your questions in the comment section on the video and I'll answer them as soon as I can. Feel free to please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. And I will be back tomorrow with another one. Until then, stay blessed. Peace.